All right, shalom, shalom to the elect of the nation of Israel. Before I get started, I want to give all praises and glory to Yahweh Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai Ba'ashem, Rachak Wadash, double honors to my apostles and my elders of Great Millstone who lead, teach, and rule well. Loving and honors to my fellow Akim, pushing the word in true faith and sincerity across the four corners. Shalom, peace and blessings to the sincere listeners and the sincere subscribers to the Men and Doctrine of Great Millstone. This is the brother you died from Atlanta, and this is going to be a quick lesson. Um, Actually preparing the precepts and content for another lesson, but then I remembered real quickly, um, how something happened shortly ago at the gas station, in which I wanted to capture it through the spirit and do a lesson on that as well. So um, this may seem a little all over the place, but I'm gonna try my best to connect through the spirit because I really wanted to grab the thought that I had in not even interaction, but it was interaction, but not involving me, but in the interaction that I witnessed at the gas station and the thought I had, and of course, when I'm linking it and filtered through the spirit, through the precept, so uh, semi impromptu, so Lord willing is edifying. But I'm going to be reading from the book of Ecclesiastes, the 11th chapter, the last three verses, and the situation that happened that I saw um, in a quote unquote outskirt kind of county of Atlanta, meaning, not downtown Atlanta, not Fulton DeKalb, godforsaken counties. But so kind of in the outskirts of the city county, so to speak. And for those who haven't been or aren't familiar with Atlanta, that's one characteristic and aspect of Atlanta metropolitan area that I noticed in my time while here in Atlanta, especially through certain jobs that I've had over the years, is the fact that um, there's a clear divide between um, the city dwellers, meaning those who are, as they say in Atlanta, ITP, which is inside the perimeter, and folks OTP or outside the perimeter, especially once you get further and further away from the city of Atlanta. You notice that the typical Georgian or citizen of that city and town, or town, mainly towns and cities, it changes, you know, significantly more rural, typically more conservative. Voting wise, I would see them being more Republican than Democrat, in which here in ITP or inside the perimeter, it's mainly more mixed, more minorities, more liberal, um, more pro feminism and alphabet LGBTQ plus, so to speak. Um, now I am going somewhere with this. I just kind of want to set it up, but um, I witnessed an apparent Edomite, a so-called white man. You know, I don't know if he's Edomite, but I say apparent Edomite as in he visually had the characteristics of an Edomite, and I saw him outside. He was in a truck, I believe it was a Chevy, and he kind of stood out to me a little bit because of the way I had to go around and come back around to get gas. And I noticed that when I turned around, he was looking at me. But long story short, I go into the store. He's already in line. I see him with the a big boy beer. I believe it was a Miller Lite, big boy tall can, which wasn't out of the normal, for Edom Esau. And he ended up getting a pack of cigarettes and some other stuff, right? But what I noticed was when he paid, even though we're in rural Georgia, not necessarily Meaning this, I could see him being a MAGA 2024 supporter. I'll just put it that way. I noticed that he paid with his cell phone, which was all quite interesting to me because that immediately and hereafter made me think about and consider the MOTB, okay, in which we know what that is, the acronym stands for. And that also goes to show that the MOTB system, the infrastructure, um, not only has it permeated, more conservative areas, but you even have conservative citizens who are partaking directly, indirectly, knowingly or unknowingly of the MOTB structure and system and infrastructure, in which we know, trust, and believe through the Bible and through biblical prophecy that it will culminate uh, through the implementation of the MOTB, the actual Garagma. You know, so yeah, I know I kind of went all the way around the world to kind of bring back the thought and the notion as to what um, more or less inspired this lesson, but it just made me really think, consider, and realize how close we actually are to the implementation of the MOTB system, man. We really are extremely, extremely close. You know, so I'm gonna get a few precepts before I close out. This is, like I said, Ecclesiastes 11 and verse 8. It says, "But if a man live many years and rejoice in them all, yet let him remember the days of darkness, for they shall be many. All that cometh is vanity." You see, in which these Edomite, the elites of Edom, Esau, and by extension, these Edomites, you know, they're so engulfed and enamored in this system. And of course, they want this system that has run and operated and controlled America to work, because this system has been created and designed to benefit them, you know, in which that's why we constantly tell and warn our people not to believe in this system, in which at this point it really is just a shadow. It's a shadow. This system doesn't even have the power and the authority in which it once used to have. This system is weaker now than when it was when we were coming up, than when our parents were coming up, than when our grandparents and great grandparents were coming up. Because, like I said, this system was created and designed by and for Edom, Esau, Edomite, so called white race. But we're also in the time in the transition of rulership and the spirit of rulership going from Edom, Esau to Israel. Okay, biblical and spiritual Israelites. Verse 9, it says, "Rejoice, O young man, in thy youth, and let thy heart cheer thee in the days of thy youth, and walk in the ways of thine heart, and in the sight of thine eyes. But know thou that for all these things the Most High will bring thee into judgment." You see, so even with that, going to, our youth, whether it be a physical youth or a spiritual youth, to not be ashamed of your and our youth, you know, even with that, to not be um, overly critical, if and when you fall short, when you make mistakes, because that's a part of the process. Mistakes are a part of the process. Not at the end of the day, we want to uh, minimize and eliminate mistakes as much as possible for the sake of judgment and righteousness and sanctity. You know, but mistakes are a part of being youth for all of us. We all have accumulated um, filth upon us from being in this world and being contaminated, in which we would have a level of filth on us even if we didn't come up in this perverse society, but we came up in a extremely perverse society, in an extremely perverse time, in which is getting continuing to get worse and worse. You know, But even in the midst of that, yeah, enjoy your youth. When necessarily all the harshness of life or the spirit or purification doesn't necessarily come on your head. But at the same time, understand that at whatever decisions that you make and whatever you do, there will be a judgment. You know, Ecclesiastes 11:10. Therefore, remove sorrow from thy heart and put away evil from thy flesh, for childhood and youth are vanity. And like I said, this was kind of inspired by um, witnessing that Edomite used the MOTB infrastructure system to make that purchase, of like, $19 or 17, $18, whatever it was. But like I said, because in the spirit of it, I didn't want to, necessarily bring Revelation 13 and 14, again, even though I could, and there's nothing wrong with that. I just kind of wanted to approach it from a different perspective, from a different standpoint, and this is the way the Spirit led me. Because even with that, whether he the that situation can go a whole bunch of different ways, and can lead to multiple different topics and lessons. But one thing that I wanted to also touch upon and differentiate also is the fact that even though the MOTB system and infrastructure is around us and it is in play and it is being um, utilized, at the end of the day, we also know and understand what the ultimate uh, um, token of subservience to Edom, Esau, and this beast system is, and that's taking the actual charagma. So I did want to make that differentiation as well, but also to note and highlight how we're close, man, because like I said, even in these rural outskirt areas, you have apparent Edomites who will use the system at a high level. He uses his cell phone, which means that his banking information or something is connected. It's just a matter of the elites making the Caragua mandatory, mandating it, and whether he take it or not, whatever. If he be Israelite low when he doesn't take it, if he be Edomite who gives them, let him fucking take it. You know. But yeah, man. At the end of the day, you know, the youthfulness of just being reborn again, man, and mistakes that we are going to make. That's why you know uh, it's important to continue to pray and repent to the Most High Yahweh Shema Shai, because we've all done things wrong, myself included. I'm not excluding myself from that. I'm speaking on it because I'm including myself on that. But at the end of the day, even with this, I'll say before I close out, with certain maturity levels as well, it's the expectation, the maturity that you make better decisions because you're held to a higher standard. On the flip side of that as well, what happens when you get older, you become more mature. You can be open to new and greater experiences because you can be trusted with the responsibility that comes along there with them, man. You know. So I'm in lesson off here. Lord, when you've been edified, once again before I close out, I want to give all praises and glory to Yahweh Ba'Shem, Yahweh Shai Ba'Shem. Rachak Wadash, double honors to my apostles and my elders of great millstone who lead, teach, and rule well. Loving honors my fellow Akim, push the word, the truth, faith, and sincerity across the four corners. Shalom, peace, and blessings to the sincere listeners and the sincere subscribers of the Men Doctrine of Great Millstone. Lord willing, be edified. Until next time, Shalom.